بسم الله والحمد لله ونصلي ونسلم على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله
وعليكم
وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام.
طيب، من حفظ سيد الاستغفار؟ Who has memorized سيد الاستغفار, the master of forgiveness? We spent almost the whole lesson on this supplication, mentioning that it is the best way for you to seek forgiveness is this dua. Okay, good. Okay, Asia, let's hear it.
اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عبدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت.
ممتازة. Asia, how old are you?
I'm 8.
8. So none of you have an excuse for not memorizing it. Asia, who's 8, she's memorized it. Aisha.
اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت.
Good. لقمان.
اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهد وعهدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوه لك بنعمتي على وأبوه
بنعمتك علي
وأبوه بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت.
Good. Taz. Okay, Maryam.
اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت.
Good. Asia or Huda? Or have you already done it?
We haven't.
Okay, go on then.
اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوه لك بنعمتك عليه وبذنبهم فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت.
ممتازة. Excellent. Well done, everybody. Those who don't have their hand up, I expect they probably know this, but they're probably too shy. If you don't, then you have to get memorizing and memorize it. It's not difficult, especially if you're going to say it every day in the morning and in the evening. Okay, so after Sayyidul Istighfar, then we're still doing the supplications and the remembrance that we say in the morning and the evening. So we're going to do one again for the morning and one again for the evening. So, Asia, do you want to Asia at the top? I think it's Asia Subhan, isn't it? Yeah. Not that Asia. Are you Asia Subhan?
No, Asia Thoban.
I can't hear you, Asia.
Asia Thoban.
Asia Thoban. Your second name is Thawban.
Yeah.
Yeah, your father's name. Okay, then read the top one.
أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله رب العالمين
Okay, is there any
اللهم
way you can speak louder or turn your mic up? We can barely hear you.
أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله رب العالمين اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم فتحه ونصره ونوره
وبركته.
وهداه وأعوذ بك من شر ما فيه وشر ما بعده.
نعم. Okay. Ibrahim, you read it again.
أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله رب العالمين اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم فتحه ونصره ونوره وبركته وهداه وأعوذ بك من شر ما فيه وشر ما بعده.
Okay. So this one is to be said when? Morning or evening?
Morning.
In the morning. Good. Because as we know, it mentions أصبحنا. So we have reached the morning, or the morning has come. وأصبح الملك لله رب العالمين. The morning has come to me, and the whole of the universe belongs to Allah, who is the Lord of the worlds. Naam. So how do we reach the morning? How do we know it when it's morning time?
The sun.
Because the sun rises. And it's morning when the sun rises. And the sun is, as we know, ma'mura. The sun is ordered. Okay, the sun doesn't go around freely by its own devices. Okay, it only goes because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He commands it and He has set it on its course. So the sun, it rises and it sets all or by the permission of Allah. And the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a hadith in Bukhari, where he mentions every day the sun sets, it asks Allah's permission to rise again. To rise. And the sun rises in what? In the west or the east?
West.
In the east?
Yeah.
Where does the sun set?
The
West. West.
In the west. Yeah. So as the Prophet said, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows it. So it rises in. Again, it rises in where?
The west.
The west. It rises in the west. So when it is the day of judgment, then the sun will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to rise in the west. Every day it seeks Allah's permission. So when it is the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell it, no, go back from where you set. And then the sun will rise in
North.
the
North.
north,
The east.
the east. So imagine like the sun. So all of you know where you live. The sun sets in the same direction every day. It sets in the east. So for me, it's like in my back garden. Okay. And then when it rises in the morning, it rises at the front of my house. But when it is the day of judgment, the sun will go down and then it will come back up in the same place from where it's set. and at that time, it's everybody. Obviously, that will the day of judgment will start at that time. That the sun will rise from the same place where it's set, and people won't be able to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness when that happens, as now the time has finished. Everybody's actions are finished, and the day of judgment will commence from that time. So the sun is commanded by Allah. Okay, so we say, Allahumma inni as'aluka khayra hadha al-yawm. So look at what we say. We ask, oh Allah, I ask you for the good of the day. Fathahu wa nasrahu, its success, its aid, its illumination, its blessings, and its guidance. So all the good which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He places in a day, that we ask Allah for all of the good of that day. So even today, we should say it, even if we have to read it. We ask Allah for the good of the day, the success which is within the day, the goodness, the illumination, the brightness of the day, guidance, its blessings and its guidance. Okay, so we, as we learned in a previous dua, where we say, لا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين. Oh Allah, don't leave me to myself, meaning don't leave me to myself even for the blinking of an eye. As in every day, we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help. And people who walk around the earth like they are sheep or cattle, like believing that they have no reason for their existence. If you look at how they live their lives, it's like they just eat and drink. As Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَيَأْكُلُونَ وَيَتَمَتَّعُونَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ, that they eat and they drink, or they eat just like the cattle. Meaning, so when you look at sheep and you look at cows in a field, what do?
Eat.
They just eat. They've always got their head down, isn't it? And they're always looking for fresh grass to eat. Okay. Do they know where they're going?
No.
Do they have, like, they wake up in the morning and they say, okay, today I'm going to eat from this part. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to work my way over from the right to the left of the field. Are they organized in what they do?
No.
Cattle and sheep?
No.
No, they just do whatever they want to do. They walk around aimlessly. They don't know where and that's why they all have, you have a shepherd who takes care of sheep. He takes care of cows, because sheep will eat and they'll graze and they don't know where they're going. So they may just keep eating, and then they might even go to dangerous places where there are wolves, etc., or foxes who may catch them and kill them. So they need the shepherd to guide them and to help them and to show them where they should be going. So we are not like that. We are not people who just walk around aimlessly. We just eat and drink like we're cattle. We eat and drink, but we have a purpose. We know that you're on this earth just for a short time, and we can enjoy this life, eat and drink, and praise Allah because of it. And at the end of it, that it is just a test, and we try to do as much good as we can. We seek, and whilst we're in this life, we ask Allah for the good of it all. And so all of these supplications, they contain what? They contain us praising Allah, thanking Him, and asking Him for the good of this life, and seeking refuge in the evil of it, and always asking for His guidance and for a good outcome. Okay, so the clever person, if you're clever, you'll be a person who memorizes these and you say them daily, and you'll see the effect between you and people who don't say them. Then there's a massive different effect. You'll find you will have a lot more barakah and a lot more blessings in your life. Okay. So we say, I seek refuge from the evil of the day and the evil that comes after it. Okay. So we move on to, so this one is one for us to memorize for the morning. And then we have one more for the evening. So Luqman, do you want to read the evening one? أمسينا
أمسينا وأمسى الملك لله الملك لله رب العالمين لا اللهم إني أسألك خير هذه ليلة فتحها ونصرها ونورها وبركتها وهدها وأعوذ بك من شر ما فيه وشر ما بعدها.
So it's exactly the same in its context and its meaning as the morning one, but just a few small changes. But we're saying amsayna, i.e. we have reached the evening. So we're saying the same thing. We're asking Allah for the good of the night. It's the success of the night, the aid of the night, and the blessings of the night. And we're seeking Allah from the refuge, or we seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil of the night. Okay. Why is the evening one very important to say?
Because is that the time Shaitan comes to you?
Good, yes. Because at Maghrib time, what we're supposed to do at Maghrib is to close the windows in the house. Okay, the Prophet used to say, when the Maghrib time comes, you should close your windows and turn the lights off for a short while, because it is the time where the shayateen come out and they disperse. At night time is when the devils, they come out. And that's why you see most crimes and most bad things, they take place when? In the night or the day?
Nighttime.
In the nighttime, yeah. Yes. And it is a time, obviously. So this is a time as well where many young children and even adults, they get scared of the nighttime. Okay. Which is something that you as a Muslim shouldn't be scared of the dark. Okay. You have all the du'as that you memorized, and you know nothing can harm you except by the will of Allah. Okay. And you shouldn't be scared when people try. So sometimes you will have siblings who may try and scare you by saying jinn and the devils. But we as Muslims, we're not scared of such things. Okay. We say our du'as, we say Ayatul Kursi in the morning and the evening, and we know nothing can harm us. Nothing at all can harm us. But it's from, you can natural fear that you can be scared of, like the dark. This usually happens to children, but you shouldn't be scared. Don't let such things scare you. And especially about things about the jinn and the shayateen, that you are Muslims, and the du'as and whatever you say, the Quran is much stronger, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you. Okay. These are just helpless creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have the protection of Allah. So how is something going to harm you if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised to protect you? Okay, so you shouldn't be scared of things like that. Don't let these things, or people try and tell you such things like horror stories or jinn stories. None of these things should scare you. Okay, as Allah says, "Inna kayda shaytani kana da'ifa," that the plotting and the planning of shaitan is very weak. It's very weak. Okay, they use like the dark and things to try and scare humans. Okay, and this is what they used to do, as is mentioned in the Quran, that when the people used to travel at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and they would go down into a valley. So what is a valley?
It's like path between when it's two mountains or hills.
Yes, good way. Good, Ibrahim. A valley is a pathway between two mountains. Sometimes you get like villages in valleys. So you get loads of places, even in the UK, there's lots of places called valley, such and such a valley. Okay. So at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, when the people used to travel and they would go into a valley between mountains, they would say, Na'udhu bi sayyidi hadha al-wadi. They would say, we seek refuge in the master of the valley. So what were they doing? They were seeking refuge with what?
Allah.
Allah.
No, they would say, Na'udhu bi sayyidi hadha al-wadi. We seek refuge in the master of the valley. What they were referring to was the jinn. Because it's common that the jinn, they live in valleys, in mountains, between mountains. So the people, when they used to go between the mountains and the valleys, they would seek refuge. They would ask for the protection of the jinn of the valley. Why would they? So what were they doing? What was this action that they were doing?
Shirk.
It was shirk. They were associating partners with Allah. They were worshipping, because seeking refuge, asking for help, okay, is worship. So they were giving their worship to somebody else. They were giving it to the jinn and not to Allah, which is shirk. So Allah will never forgive that sin. Why did they do it? Because the jinn used to scare the people. So they would make like noises and they would trouble them, etc. You know, when people talk about haunted houses and they say, I went in there and I heard a noise go, woo, okay, like a ghost. They say ghosts, but this is nothing but jinn scaring people. They try to scare people, and in order to make the people think that they are strong and powerful, but they're not. So, as Allah says in Surah Al-Jinn, وَأَنَّهُ كَانَ رِجَالٌ مِنَ الْإِنسِ يَعُوذُونَ بِرِجَالٍ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَزَادُوهُمْ رَهَقًا. Allah talks about this in Surah Jinn by saying that there used to be men from the humans, and they would seek refuge, they would seek help from the men of the jinn. فَزَادُوهُمْ رَهَقًا. And the jinn would increase the humans in fear. So they used to scare the humans into doing such things. So if a person would go into the valley and he never committed shirk and asked them to protect him, they would scare that person until he would say it, until he would commit shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they were the devils trying to trick the humans into worshipping them. Okay, do you get it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, good. So this is part of, obviously, they use fear in order to get humans to worship them. Okay, good. Okay, so we have also now, we'll do these two, or we'll carry on. We'll cover as much as we can in the time. Okay, so we move on to the next one. Who's going to read it? Let's have Maryam.
Both of them.
Just the highlighted one.
Okay. اللهم عافني في بدني اللهم عافني في سمعي اللهم عافني في بصري لا إله إلا أنت.
Okay, and Nafisa, do you want to carry on read the rest?
اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الكفر والفقر وأعوذ بك من عذاب القبر لا إله إلا أنت.
Excellent. So let's go through the meaning of these now. So when we say Allahumma afini, so we're asking Allah. Remember, Allahumma means?
Oh Allah.
Yeah, it means Ya Allah. Afini fi badini. So grant my body, or give me health في بدني, in my body. Okay, so these supplications are very important. So only the person who maybe doesn't have complete good health, or maybe there's been times when you've been very sick. Okay, are there any times where some of you have been very sick?
Yes.
I don't mean like a cold, or you've got the sniffles or a tummy ache. I mean like very sick where you've had to go into a hospital.
Yes.
Yes. Good. So
Yes.
good. So all of you can, so those who have been very sick, or maybe you've had siblings, or maybe your mother or your father have been very sick, or an aunt or uncle, you understand and appreciate how important, how precious health is. That your health, having good health, is a huge blessing from Allah. In fact, does anybody know a hadith or something which the Prophet ﷺ said about health? I'll give you a clue. The first word that the Prophet ﷺ said, ni'matani, 2 blessings. مغبون فيهما كثير من الناس, which many people, there are 2 blessings which many people, or the majority of people, they neglect. They don't pay any importance to 2 blessings which Allah has given them. What are those 2 blessings? One of them is health, as-sihha, meaning health. And what's the second one?
And guided to
And what?
being guided to the right path.
That's one, but we're looking for the
No.
specific wording.
Cure.
Cure, no. What are 2 things that are precious? If you lose them, you can never, ever, ever get them back.
The heart and lungs.
No, so we've mentioned as-sihha, which is health. What is the other thing? Once it's gone, it never comes back. Lungs, you can have a lung operation. They can replace your lungs with somebody else's lungs. Anybody know?
When someone dies.
No.
Belief.
No. I'll give you another clue. You cannot touch it.
Soul.
The soul? No.
Iman.
No. No, I'll give you another clue.
Heaven.
It's on the walls of most of your houses. No pictures. No.
Side bricks.
No.
Clock.
A clock. And what does the clock do?
Tick away.
Time. Well done, Maryam. Time. Once time goes, you can never get it back. Time. Yes, well done. So the Prophet said, there are 2 blessings. Allah's given us 2 blessings. And most of the people waste them. As-sihha, which is good health, wal-faragh, and your spare time. Okay, most people waste their health. So you get many people, they only worship Allah when they become old and they become sick and they become frail. Many people only go for Hajj and Umrah when they're old. Why? Because they waste their health when they're young. They spend it just playing around and traveling to here and there, or all they're involved in is sports their whole life. So they're wasting their health. This is a time when you're young, is a time to do a lot of worship or to help the religion of Allah as much as you can. And time, as you said, most people, as many times you could sit there with your tablet or on your computer and you could sit there, not even move for 2 to 3 hours, and it's gone. And within that time, you could have read the Quran for half an hour, for an hour, and received, hundreds and thousands of rewards. But instead, a person, he just skips through nonsense, just watching. There's from in our times, the kids, all they seem to do is watch other kids play games, or they subscribe to people. It's just jokes and pranks and etc. So you're wasting a lot of time, especially as when you're young. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you brains which are like sponges, where whatever you learn, you memorize it quickly. Okay, so this is why your parents want you to do this course, because these types of things, okay, if you spent as much time memorizing these as you do just flicking through videos or watching stuff on the computer or the tablet, every single one of you would have their hand up in the lesson to say they have memorized the dua. If you spend just a fraction of time that you do watching other things, then every single one of you would have memorized these adhkar in the morning and the evening. Okay, as I said, it's easily done. Okay, so for example, Aisha, may Allah preserve her and grant her beneficial knowledge, every week she comes and a lot of you also, you memorize the hadith and you memorize the adhkar every week. So Aisha, question, how do you memorize them all every week? Aisha Awais. For example, the last week's the hadith of Sayyidul Istighfar, the master of forgiveness. Look, it's just 3 lines long. Did it take you a long time, Aisha?
No.
So, and how much time would you say you spent memorizing it?
Like 6 minutes.
6 minutes? Really? That's faster than how I memorized it. Allah Mubarak. Really?
Yeah.
So, and how do you memorize it? What do you do? Just tell us how you memorize things.
Just keep reading over it.
Just keep repeating it. So do you read it like from the beginning to the end, or do you memorize it line for line?
Line for line.
Line for line, and then you join them all together at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, this took Aisha 10 minutes. So that means, so Aisha, I think her brain, because her brain is a muscle. Remember, your brain is a muscle. And the more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Okay, so the more you get, so the more you memorize, the easier it becomes for you to memorize. Okay, a person who just does a few minutes every day, then he's not going to be as strong as a person who does it for half an hour or to an hour. It's like going to the gym. If you lift the weight and you want to make your arm big, the more you lift it, the more you lift that weight, the bigger your arm's going to get, the more muscle it's going to get. So it's the same with your memory. So if you keep memorizing, like Aisha, sometimes when Aisha first started, she's young. So have you found, Aisha, now memorizing is easier for you than it was a few years ago?
Yeah.
Yes, because now your brain, that muscle in your brain, it's become used to memorizing. It's like a sponge, just soaks things up. So remember, this is the best time for you to learn. This is the best time for you guys to learn. And as I keep telling you, if you don't believe me, ask your parents. As many of you probably know more adhkar probably than a lot of your parents, because maybe your parents never had this opportunity when they were younger. Okay, so this one, as we said, Allahumma afini fi badani. Oh Allah, grant me health in my body, as it's so important to have a healthy body. Okay. And if, as I said, if you have relatives or friends who are not as healthy, that thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you have health, because it's very precious. Allahumma afini fi sam'i. Oh Allah, grant me health in my hearing. And oh
Ustaz?
Allah, sorry.
Ustaz,
Yeah,
I have a question.
go on, Luqman.
I heard the jinns don't only live in the mountains, they live in the bathroom too.
Yeah. So jinn generally, yeah, they not just jinn, we're talking about shayateen. Okay, that they will, the shayateen, the devils, that they will live in unclean places. So that's why, when we enter the bathroom, what do we say? Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubthi wal-khaba'ith, from the male and the female devils. Khubth is from unclean, filthy. Okay, as we know, the toilet is not it's not like even though your toilet at home may look clean, but it's not a clean place. It's not a place where you should spend a lot of time. You just go in there, you do your business, and you leave. Okay, that's why. So yeah, so so the jinn or the shayateen, they will spend time in them places. So the shayateen, as you know, they are who are the shayateen? What's the difference between jinn and shayateen?
Shayateen are the teachers and
Yeah, so the shayateen, which means the devils, it's the plural of the word shaitan. They are the workers and the helpers of Iblis, of the main devil, Iblis, as we know, shaitan. Okay, the word shaitan, obviously, is someone who's distant from the mercy of Allah. So the shayateen are like, they are people who, first of all, they're the offspring of shaitan. They're his children and his great grandchildren. One second. So they are the offspring of shaitan. So he has children and his grandchildren, and you have workers who work for him as well. Okay. And then you have, as we say, then you have jinn. So the shayateen, they are jinn. And also we have shaitan. We get different shaitans from humans, being people who worship the devil and they like to help the devil, and they're humans. Okay. And then you have jinn, which are just like, for example, like humans. You have Muslim jinn, you have Jewish jinn, you have Christian jinn, you have Hindu jinn, Buddhist jinn. Okay. And so they live lives like us. They get married, they have children, etc. Okay, so we carry on. We say, Allahumma afini fi sam'i. Oh Allah, grant me good health in my hearing. Sam'i. Allahumma afini fi basari. Oh Allah, grant me good health in my eyesight. Okay, so I knew someone who had very poor eyesight, and then I didn't. When I saw him and I didn't see him for a few years. And when I saw him after a few years, he never wore glasses. And I said to him, "How come you don't wear glasses anymore?" And he said, "Because I used to always read this dua." He said, I always used to read, and I would particularly say, Allahumma afini fi basari. Oh Allah, give me good health in my eyesight. And he said, and after a short while, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he cured my eyesight. And he says that my eyes were stronger, became stronger, and he never had any need to wear glasses. La ilaha illa ant. We say there is no God or deity than Allah. It should be La ilaha illa anta. You shouldn't say Allah. La ilaha illa ant. So this part, it shouldn't be here. Lafdul jalala. Should be La ilaha illa ant. Just like the bottom one. Okay, and then we say the same supplication. Sorry, then the next part is, you want to read it, Nafisa, because you read it. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-kufri wal-faqri.
Allahumma inni
Now read the
oh,
English.
oh Allah, grant my body health. Oh Allah, grant my hearing health.
Yeah, carry on.
Oh Allah, grant my sight health. None has the right to be worshipped except you. Oh
Good.
Allah.
So we say this, sorry to cut you there. So we say this one, obviously we say it 3 times. So times 3. So say it 3 times and then carry on. Oh Allah, I take refuge.
Oh Allah, I take refuge with you from disbelief and poverty. And
What's disbelief, Nafisa?
Not believing.
You're not believing in Allah. Yes. It's very important because sometimes you have Muslims, they're Muslim one day, and because they may have some evil in their hearts that they disbelieve in Allah, they may decide one day, I don't believe in this anymore. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He leads them astray because of an action or things that they do. They have corrupt hearts. Okay, this is something. So your belief in Allah, you believe that Allah is the creator of the heavens and the earth. Don't think that it's something minor, that this is a huge thing. This is a huge gift which Allah has given to you. Okay, and He's put this in your heart. So preserve it. Okay, so this dua is very important for us to say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-kufr. They seek Allah of disbelief because the disbelievers will go to the fire. And none of us want to go to the fire. Carry on, Nafisa. Wal-faqr.
And I take refuge with your punishment of the grave. Punishment of the grave. None has a right to be worshipped except you.
Good. Excellent. So we're asking Allah that He saves us from disbelief. He saves us from poverty. Okay? Because having money to buy food and to buy water and to live in a house and to wear nice clothes is a huge blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of you just need to reflect that the majority of kids, meaning most of the kids who live on the earth, who are your age, they are poor and they don't have nice clothes, they don't have nice houses, they don't have anything like of the likes which you guys have. So it's a huge blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives and He can take away from us as well. That Allah has given us a house, He gives us riches, He gives us food. And if we disbelieve in them and we treat them in a bad way, Allah can remove them from us. Just as easy as He gave them to us, He can remove them from us as well. So if we disbelieve in Allah's blessings or we don't thank Him for them, He can take them away at any time. So look in this dua, we're asking Allah. So when you ask and you thank Allah for His blessings, He will keep giving them to you and He will give you more. So who's the one who benefits from saying these things? Is it Allah who benefits?
No, we do.
No, again, it's always us who benefit, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, and again, We ask Allah to save us from the punishment of the grave, because none has the right to be worshipped except for him. But 3 times. So we say both of these 3 times. This one 3 times, and this one times 3 also. Okay, and we'll leave the other 2 for our next lesson. So there's just 4 for us to do. The one in the morning, then the one in the evening. We say it once, and then these 2, morning and evening, we say them 3 times each. Okay, so again, even if you just have them, if you print it out and you have it by your bedside table by your bed, and you wake up or after your breakfast, you just make sure you say them 3 times each. As we keep saying, by the end of the month or a week, or like Aisha, who spends just a few minutes, then you will have memorized them. You will memorize them. The more you say it, the more you will memorize them. So the clever person, as we keep saying, he will get busy now. While he is young, he will memorize all of these, so that when he's older, he will say, Alhamdulillah, I don't have to memorize these things that other people my age are memorizing. Why? I memorized them when I was young. Okay, so very important for you to take control or take ownership of your time. Okay, your mother or your father shouldn't be reminding you, say this dua, or have you memorized the dua? Okay, you're all responsible, and you all know that it's important, so do it. Any questions before we stop?
No.
Where is the recording for last week lesson? I did not see it. Is it not uploaded? No, it's on the channel.
Dad, it's not there.
It's not there. Okay, I'll look into it. Maybe it got uploaded on the wrong playlist. I'll have a look. Okay, هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Have a nice day.